Hello all, welcome to FA Learn Hub Infinite Learning. Today our topic is AS9100D QMS standard. This is a 1 hour awareness training program that explain about major requirement of AS9100D standard. FA Learn Hub is an online space for learning. Kindly have a look on our videos in YouTube channel, and if you are interested, kindly subscribe the same and follow in LinkedIn also. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Myself,
yes.
Kumar.
Yeah, do you
Uh,
know what is quality management system?
Quality management system is a technical documentation, implementation of documentation, sir.
Okay, so what you are trying to tell means quality management
Nothing
system
but
which contains
nothing but
only
a
the
ISO.
documentation.
Nothing but ISO. Yes,
Okay,
same as nothing but a ISO system, sir.
okay,
Basically, it is a fundamental quality management system, sir.
okay. So I'll just explain the definition. A QMS, quality management system, is a collection of business processes focused on consistently meeting customer requirement and enhancing customer satisfaction. So QMS or quality management system is a nothing but the ultimate goal of a quality management system is to meet customer requirement and enhancing or increasing customer satisfaction. For that, we are creating business processes. So, business processes in the sense set of procedures, rules, general practices, policies, etc. So, it is nothing but QMS is nothing but we are creating a set of rules, procedures, general practices that focus to consistently meeting customer requirement and enhancing customer satisfaction. So that is called a QMS. Understood? So there are different kind of QMS are available. So for general industries like schools, banks, or any other general purpose manufacturing industries or any kind of industry, if it is a organization, so they can adopt ISO 9001 2015. It's a general QMS standard. So it's widely adopted QMS standard also. So next one is for automotive industries. So industries which are design manufacturers of automotive or vehicle parts, vehicles or vehicle products or anything related to vehicles. They can adopt IATF 16949. So for medical devices, ISO 13485. Food industries ISO 22000. Service industries at ISO 00000. IT industries, so for information security, we can adopt ISO 27001. And finally, the aerospace industries, we can adopt a quality management system which is called AS9100. The revision is D. It was released on 2016. So basically, this standard is going to upgrade in next year. So it will be changed to standard name will be changed to IA9100. We are expecting the release on 2026 September. So up to that, only AS9100D, this the revision will be there. Okay, someone can acknowledge on this one. So this AS9100D quality management system is basically the quality management system which is dedicated for aviation, space, and defense organizations. So mainly any organization which are design, manufacture, supply aerospace product, either aviation or space, or even if it is a ground application, army application, or if it is a navy application, which are related to defense aerospace, we can adopt AS9100. The scope is like that. And this particular standard is developed by IAQG. IAQG is nothing but International Aerospace Quality Group. So International Aerospace Quality Group, in the sense, it is a globally cooperative organization which have representatives from various aerospace companies in the world. So it's like it'll tell IAQG have different sectors like American Aerospace Quality Group, European Union Aerospace Quality Group, and Asia Pacific Aerospace Quality Group. So the different various aerospace organizations, they have a representatives in IAQG, and these representatives or these organization will design and develop, or they will create and publish aerospace standards. It is not only for AS9100D, different aerospace standards they are designing and developing and publishing. Okay, so there are different members from India, IAQG members like Ankit Fasteners from Bangalore, Bharat Forge, Dynamic Technology, Explio Technology, HAL, Moog India, SLN Tech, Tata Advanced System. So these are the companies have representatives in IAQG from India. So if we go with the AS9100D, so it have 10 clauses, as like ISO 9001 2015. ISO have 10 clauses. Similar way, AS also have 10 clauses. So these 10 clauses are aligned in a manner like a plan, do, check, act. It's a process approach. Okay. So shall we go with clause by clause?
Yeah, Sabine, can you move further?
Yeah, yeah. So our first clause is scope. So in this, if we go with 10 clauses, first three clauses are general clauses, and from fourth to 10th, these are requirements. So requirement of this particular standard. So scope is nothing but a scope of this particular standard. So everyone has anyone not seen this AS9100 document standard? So this is the standard. So you can see this have 10 clauses. 11th clause is just a revision indicator. Okay. So for scope, first scope of this document or this standard. So it's nothing but organization who design, manufacture, service of aerospace defense products, they can adopt this standard. So that is the scope of this standard. So any organization, they are designers or manufacturers, or they are doing some service for any aerospace defense products or services, they can adopt AS9100 standard. So this standard covers all the requirement of ISO 9001 2015 quality management system, and there are some additional requirements. So additional requirements which are critical to aerospace industries. So that means if you cover or if you are certified with AS9100D, then it will cover ISO 9001 2015 also. The requirement in this standard are complementary, not an alternative for any other requirement like customer statutory. So it's like these requirements are extra requirement or complementary requirements. These are not an alternative requirement what customer or statutory regulatory require. So next thing is, if there's a conflict between AS standard and a customer statutory regulatory requirement, so AS shall get less precedence. So if there's a conflict between any customer requirement or AS standard requirement or government law or anything like that or any statutory requirement, we we can go with the customer requirement or statutory requirement. AS requirement get only less precedence. So that is the scope of this standard. Okay, can we go with second clause? So normative references, in the sense it's a cross-reference documents like ISO 9001 2015 and ISO 9000 2015. These two are the reference documents of this AS9100. So terms and definition, it will explain some of the terms and definitions. What are new in new terms and definitions explained in AS9100 documents. So it will learn in previous clauses. So we'll start with the clause number 4. It's a context of organization. So basically, clause number 4, 5, 6, 7 means context of organization, leadership, planning, support. These clauses are called plan clauses. In the sense, in plan, do, check, act, plan will plan points or plan requirement will cover in this clauses like context of organization, leadership, planning, and support. So context of organization. So what exactly is telling means, so before we are doing our central operation. So central operation in the sense, so what we are doing, what service or what product we are doing. For example, design and development of any electronic product or electro-optics product or PCBs or anything. So that will be our central operation or central function. So before going to that function, so what are the planning activities we need to do? So in that planning activity, first clause is context of organization. So in the sense, first thing is we have to define our scope. So what is the scope of our organization? So we have to clearly define what what we are going to do. For example, clearly mention that design, development, manufacturing of printed circuit boards. So that is the scope of our organization. And process, after that, boundary in the sense where we are doing this operation. So company have two sites. One site is in Bangalore, another site is in Abu Dhabi. So suppose in Bangalore site we are doing design development and Abu Dhabi site we are doing manufacturing, means we have to clearly define that. So Bangalore site address, we are doing design and development of PCBs or printed circuit boards. And Abu Dhabi site with address, we will mention that manufacturing of PCBs. So this is called define the scope. So we have to define the scope of the organization. So that is the first step. The next step is interested parties. We have to define who and all are our interested parties. So interested parties in nothing but whoever related to us, our organization, that is called interested parties. So it may include employees, it may include customers, suppliers, or neighbor companies, or if a company is in a park, the park also. or calibration agencies, whoever related to our company, they are part of interested parties. So we have to identify who and all our interested parties, and we have to identify their needs and expectation. For example, employees on time salary, it's their needs and expectation. Suppliers on time payment is a need and expectation. Customer on time delivery and quality of the product, that is their need and expectation. So similar way, for we have to identify all the interested parties of our organization, and we have to define what is their needs, what is their expectations. The next thing is issues of organization. We have to define, so in future or now itself, what are the issues we are going to face, each department wise or whatever it is, each process wise. We have to identify what are the internal issues and what are the external issues we are going to face. So it's like a risk identification or something like that. So we have to identify the issues of the organization, internal issues in the sense inside company, what are the issues we are going to face, or from outside, from competitor, from customer, from the environment, from the location, geographical area, what are the issues we are going to face. Those things we have to list out. So this is a part of plan. As I told, this is a part of plan. We have to define these things. Next thing is we have to define our organization chart, in the sense from md to bottom level, whoever employees are there. So, we have to create a organizational chart, and we have to define what are the roles and responsibility, means responsibility and authority of each person or each designation in the company. So we are it's like a plan. We are just doing create a organization chart, then we are assigning tasks to, or what will the job description or their roles and responsibilities and their authorities to each persons. The next thing is process interaction. So we'll identify all the sub processes, what are the processes in the organization and how these processes are interacting. So we have to create a process interaction chart. So this is called these are the major requirements of context of organization. Okay. Shall we move with the next clause? So if you have in between, if you have any doubt, you can put it in the chat box. So after end of the session, we can discuss on those points. Can anyone can acknowledge? Okay. So we'll go with the next clause. It is called a leadership. So leadership in the sense. So here in this clause, majorly explaining about the responsibilities of top management. Top management in the sense director, or who is held in the top level of the company. So mostly it's director, MD, or executive director, or chief directors, chief executive directors, or anyone part of management. We can consider as a top management. So aerospace standard demands the involvement of top management also. So they have some responsibilities. It's in the sense, so leadership or top management, they should show the commitment to QMS, quality management system. They should take accountability of the effectiveness of the quality management system. So how effectively quality management system is going on, and how the implementation level. So they have to establish a quality policy and communicate the quality policy. So company should have a quality policy in the sense, so they have I mean, what level, what is our commitment to the quality management system. It should align with the company's strategy. So and this quality, they have to create a quality policy, and they have to communicate quality policy to all interested parties. So as I told, interested party who are related to organization, they are interested party. And promoting the process approach and risk-based thinking, make available optimum resources. So for quality management system, normally one of the resistance is lack of resources also. It may be manpower, it may be any other kind of resources also. So top management has to ensure that optimum resources are available and promote customer focus. So ensuring the product conformity or OTD, whatever it is. So this is the responsibilities of top management or a leadership. So also there is one more clause which is not available in ISO, but it is available in AS9100D. So top management shall appoint one specific member identified as a management representative who shall have a responsibility and authority to oversight above requirement. In the sense, so top management can assign one person to do this task, whatever task or whatever responsibilities mentioned above, that can assign to one member. He is called as a, or he appointed as a management representative. So management representative shall have a organizational freedom and unrestricted access to top management to resolve quality management issues. So management representative is a person, so he should have a organizational freedom, in the sense he can stop the production or he can stop the design activity, any activities related to quality management system under the other than finance activity or commercial activity. He can stop that one if things are going bad, if people are not following whatever procedures, or if there is a serious or continuous what will tell continuous system failure or system obeyiness is not happening, means he can stop the production or stop the design activity, stop the operation itself, and he can communicate, because he should have a unrestricted access to top management. Immediately he have to communicate the same to top management. So that is called a management representative. So this is the major requirement of leadership or clause 5. If we go with the clause 6, planning. So planning here, so in if we go with clause 4, we have to identify issues in the organization. So in clause 6, we have to address this risk or issues or risk, and we have to address the opportunity. So we should have an action plan for whatever risk or issues we have identified. We should have an action plan here. So there are different kind of registers. For example, FMEAs, so risk register or FMEA. This kind of things has to be applicable here. So we will list down the risk, and we should have a risk mitigation plan for those risks we have identified. So that should be covered here. And next thing is, so now in clause 4, we have assigned job description, means responsibilities and authorities for each person, each department. So next thing is we have to assign the target. So like a quality objective. So for example, for quality department or final inspection department, customer complaint should be less than 1%. Like that for each department, design and development. So drawing developed by a designer, it should have minimum 5 year in a quarter or something like that. The management has to provide quality objectives, which may called KPIs or whatever functional objectives or KPIs. So they have to give some targets to each department, and it has to be monitored in a period of time. For example, either monthly basis or a quarterly basis or yearly basis, whatever it is, it has to be monitored in a periodic interval of time. If there is something is not meeting, the respective department has to take some action to meet those requirement or that targets. So next thing is planning on changes. So if there is any change in the organization, it may be change in the management, it may be change in the organization structure, change in the document itself, change in the design, whatever it is, any change, any changes, it has to be done in a planned manner. So risk related to the change. For example, I am working as an MR. If I am terminated immediately or spot termination is happened, so it should not done as spot termination. The risk related to that one has to be studied. Then only he has to terminate it. Or one person who is a he's a QC lead and he is moving from QC to another production or somewhere else, some other department, or he is moved to design department. So if management is doing some change, it has to be in a planned manner. All risk or impact related to that change has to be studied, and then on respective action has to be taken. Then only that change should be implemented. That is what it is telling. So next clause is support. Support in the sense all supportive activities for the central function is called support. It is explaining about all supportive activities for central function. Central function in the sense what we are doing in the organization. So for example, different kind of resources required for the organization. For example, people, infrastructure, environment and operation. So monitoring and measuring resources. For example, people in the sense there should be some procedure for hiring process. So the competent people or competent should be there in another clause also. So right people, so there should be some JD, and there should be some in the interview process. So it should be defined, and right people has to be assigned for work. Next thing is infrastructure. Infrastructure in the sense building, tools, softwares, whatever later or whatever required for the production. For example, climate control area, clean room is required for some process, means clean room, that is a part of infrastructure. Some specific tools are required for our central operation, then that particular tool. So whatever required for the our main function, central function, that is required, that is part of infrastructure. So next thing is environment in the sense, so environmental condition also, also employee should have a proper psychological condition in the sense without pressure, those conditions also coming under the environment for the operation of process. Next thing is monitoring and measuring resources in the sense equipment for testing and calibration of the same. So these things will be coming under the next thing is organizational knowledge. So organizational knowledge in the sense, so one person who is working in a D&D department, software development department. Suppose if that person is going, means he should have so much of knowledge. If it is not keeping anywhere, means that organization will lost that knowledge. So normally in AS industries, they'll suggest there should be one lessons learned session after completion of each project. So lessons learned in that from that project should be registered in that register, and it has to be moved to your SOP or procedure. It should be documented. So that is knowledge in the organization should not be floated somewhere. It should be documented in some way. So that is called the organizational knowledge. The next thing is competence. Competence in the sense there should be a requirement of so for each role, each whatever JD or roles and responsibilities are defined, that roles and responsibility there should be some what will tell the person should have, there should be some criteria for the person. So for operator level job grades in will tell job grade. So person who is working as an operator, it should be defined that the operator should have a qualification, what qualification he should have, and whether he have that qualification, or while hiring he should have that qualification of same qualification is there or not. So for engineer, he should have another qualification and another experience. And senior engineer should have another qualification and another experience. It should be defined. Manager have another qualification and another experience. It should be defined and it should be followed. So there is something called competency or skill matrix. So in competency matrix, this competency requirement and his skills also should be rated. So required skill, for example, soldering process. The person who working in the soldering process, skill 4 should be required. So that person who is working, whether he have skill 4 or not. So there should be something called a competency or skill matrix. So this matrix should be prepared, and there should be some objective. If he is rated as a 4 or up out of 5 means it should be in objective manner, like he has completed some training on job training, and his training should be evaluated, and effectiveness should be evaluated based on the results of evaluation or something. Some objective evidence should be there by rating the competence or skill. Then awareness, there should be awareness in the sense proper training has to be provided for each person. There should be some training calendar. As per calendar, training has to be done, and a training feedback has to be done. For technical trainings, there should be training effective evaluation has to be done. So that is called awareness part. And there are some mandatory training we have to do, like what are the so quality policy, quality manual, regarding quality policy, quality manual, counterfeit parts, change management, product safety. This kind of major requirement of AS9100 need to be trained to all employees or relevant employees. So next thing is communication. So communication in the sense, so each communication in the organization with either internal or external communication, it should be defined. So how frequently, who have to communicate, what have to communicate, method of communication, either email, notice board, whatever it is. So that thing has to be defined. So that is there is something called communication matrix. All the communication in the organization should be defined in a manner, and it has to be followed. So next thing is documented information. So documented information can be called, it can be classified into two categories. One is documents, another one is records. So like a maintained information. So whatever instructions we are providing, for example, your quality manual, quality procedures, SOPs can be called as a maintained informations. Retained information in the sense records. So records in the sense your filled checklist, or your route card, whatever it is, whatever you have, all your test reports are part of retained information. So documented information is classified into two types. So everything should be, whatever we are claiming in an organization, it should be documented. Either for example, there should be maintained information like SOPs, or quality manual, whatever it is. So based on that, retained information should be there. So next is do do or operation. So operation in the sense, so this is a this clause is explaining about what is our central function, what are the requirement we need to do. The summary, I will just explain the summary. So it include operational risk. So whatever operation we are doing, we should have a risk register. So in the sense, it may be FMEA, whatever it is, there should be we have to identify each risk we are going to face in the organization, and risk analysis has to be done. The next thing is contract review. So contract review in the sense, once we are getting a PO or any other contract, any kind of contract, the cross-functional team who are related to that PO has to be reviewed all the requirements in the PO, and we have to check the feasibility whether we can do it or not, um, and then only we have to communicate customer. That means PO acceptance or acceptance should be done. after contract review only. So for design industries, for design and development industries, there should be some requirement of design input. So design input in the sense, whatever requirement we are getting, that should be documented. So that is called, so our industries, normally industries will create, so for example, design and development contain three different departments like software, hardware, mechanical. Means each department will create their requirement document. There should be one system requirement document. Then each department will create their requirement document. So they will clearly understand that what is the requirement. Completely they will understand that. That is called a design input. So next thing is design changes. So as I informed, if there is a change in the design, we have to identify the change, and we have to do impact analysis of the change, reason for change, what are the impact of the change, what are the risk related to the change. This has to be identified, analyzed, and reviewed and the change should be approved by one person. The approval authority should be defined in the document in SOP or whatever, or L2 management procedure, and there should be some mechanism for that one. So in industries will use different mechanism like ECNs, DCNs, DCRF, design change notes. So this uh, that should be followed. So it should not be uncontrolled. So it should be controlled manner, and it should be defined. So next thing is design output. So all the test reports, whatever. So whatever design inputs, after realization, design output will come. So this output should be verified by test report or final checklist, ATR, QTR, whatever it is. So next point is control of externally provided services. In the sense, supplies, controlling of our supplies. So for AS is demanding like there should be some supplier registration. There should be one approved supplier list. In supplier registration, risk related to the supplier, the new supplier should be analyzed, and once it supplier registration process is complete, there should be one list which is called approved supplier list. So there are some elements or basic elements for approved supplier list. So once one supplier is approved supplier, then we have to analyze that supplier based on their quality or on time delivery and various parameters, and we have to give a rating to supplier for each delivery, or either we should have some mechanism to evaluate the supplier, and every year or every month, every 3 months, we have to do the re-evaluation of this supplier. So that is called supplier control or evaluation, control of externally provided services. So next, coming back to our production service, this is telling. So we have explained about design parameters. Next, control of externally provided services. Next thing is production or service provision. So next thing is, if it is repeat order or then design activities is completed, then we are going for a production activity. So there are multiple points we have to think about. So we'll tell all the production activities should be done in a controlled environment. So it include following things: document control. So all the documents should be freezed, then only it should come to production. All the tools should be validated or calibrated. So all the documents, whatever documents, or anything should have access control. So only relevant people should access all things, either documents or tools, whatever it is, or production area. Everything should be accessed by relevant people only. Then there should be traceability and identification for whatever materials available in the floor, or whatever it is, it should be identifiable and traceable from start to end. So in the end, in the sense, life cycle of the product. So it is after dispatch, if customer is asking some details, so it should be identifiable and it should be traceable. So validation of special processes. So if there is a special, if we are doing special processes, it has to be validated in a period of time. The special process validation has to be defined and it has to be done in a period of time. So there should be first article inspection. So if we are doing first time or if we are changing our design, there should be one first article inspection. The procedure for first article inspection has to be defined and it has to be carried out. So handling of, there should be one procedure or mechanism for handling of customer customer properties. It may be customer documents, it may be customer tools, or customer material. It should be identifiable, it should be trackable, and it should be maintained in a proper way. So there should be one procedure for that. Then storage reservation of our material. It include our raw material to our end product. Even with customer place also, we have to provide their handling procedures, storage, handling, whatever it is. Those procedures has to be, it has to be defined and it has to be followed. So release of product in the sense, so if we are release a product to customer, before that what are the things we have to do? So whatever ATP test or ATR test, those has to be done, and delivery checklist should be there, and packing requirement should be there. All these things has to be defined and it has to be go in that manner. The next thing is post delivery services. So post delivery services, it may be warranty services, it may be customer complaint handling. Those things has to be a corrective action procedure, handling of non-conforming material control. This thing has to be defined and it has to be followed. So this is a summary. And while we are doing, so these are some requirement. While we are doing, or we are doing this requirement, or doing this activity, we have to consider some of the points. These are extra requirement of AS9100 that I will explain. So configuration management. Configuration management, as I told, there should be, so one configuration, one version of a product. So it should be properly managed from starting, from contract review on to up to its product life cycle. In the sense, after 10 years, you are giving a life cycle. So what configuration gone? So what are the products inside? Boom. What are the design? This thing has to be identifiable and traceable. So that is called a configuration management. So this has to be considered while we are doing our design activities and production activities. Next thing is counterfeit part. So if we are purchasing a product from our supplier, or if we are delivering, so we have to prevent counterfeit part. Counterfeit part in the sense nothing but it's a misrepresentation of a genuine part. So it may include a duplicate part and it misrepresenting a genuine part, then it is called a counterfeit part. A refurbished part, that is also called a counterfeit part. A part that doesn't complete its full manufacturing cycle or full testing cycle and sell as a complete part, then it can be called as a counterfeit part. A part that hide or replace batch number or manufacturing traceability, then that is also called as a counterfeit part. So how we can prevent counterfeit part? There are different methods to prevent counterfeit part. May not, we can't do 100% also, but we can prevent the same to avoid in our supply chain. So either we can purchase the product from OEM, original equipment manufacturer. That is one of the method, and we are getting a OEM COC. So we are ensuring that product is from OEM, original equipment manufacturer, and that particular OEM is acknowledging and certifying that this product is meeting all the requirement as per your PO or your design. So that is one way. If OEM it is not available, then we can go with OEM authorized distributor, and we are getting a COC from OEM COC with the OEM authorized COC. So we are ensuring that product is from OEM, and OEM is certifying that, and OEM authorized distributor also is certifying that. That is another way of preventing. If in the, that is also not available, OEM COC is not available, we can purchase from OEM authorized distributor, and we are accepting with supplier COC or authorized distributor COC. That is another method. So if this is not at all available, then we can go with another supplier, not an authorized supplier, and we will tighten our inspection criteria, and we will not only inspection criteria, supplier registration, supplier evaluation, these criteria, and we'll do supplier audit, and we have our own control mechanism to avoid a counterfeit part. Then we can go with the other suppliers also. So these are the level of preventing the counterfeit parts. So if we are doing our central operation, we have to consider there is a chance of entering counterfeit parts. How to prevent that one? There should be one procedure, or there should be some mechanism to prevent or avoid the counterfeit parts. So change management, I already explained. There should be a procedure or mechanism to handle the or manage the changes in the organization. All kind of it may not be documental change. It may be design change also, or any kind of changes. There should be a mechanism to change. Next thing is key characteristics. So key characteristics in the sense an attribute or a feature whose variation has a significant effect on the product form, fit, function, performance, service life, or producibility that requires a specific actions for the purpose of controlling variation. So key characteristics in the sense it's nothing but, for example, consider I have a water bottle. In that water bottle have a lid. Inside lid have thread. For example, thread. So the if the thread is considered M10 is the thread dimension. If it is changed to, so manufacturer is changed to M12, then it will not work. So a small variation in the thread, it will not work. It will not match with the mating part. That means water bottle. So either it will be loose or it will be tight. If there is a small change also. But consider holding portion outside of the lid. If you add 1 mm also, it will not affect anything. So that is called key characteristics. Small change in a particular characteristics or particular dimension or attribute, whatever it is. If it is a small change also, it will affect its form, fit, functionality, performance, service life, producibility, anything. Then it is called key characteristics. So AS is demanding, or as per AS 9100D, so key characteristics should be identified and it should be communicated to its user. So if we are creating a drawing, so we have to, the designer has to identify what is the key characteristics of the drawing, and if we are giving to supplier key characteristics, what is key characteristics, it should be identified by different method. Either we put one or two stars, and in down it is a key mention that whatever star is there, it's a key characteristics of that particular drawing. So manufacturer will understand that that is a key characteristic. Small change, so there should be some control mechanism for them also. Similar way, whatever it is in our production floor also, whatever key characteristics or critical items, we can, so designer who are creating assembly procedure or assembly checklist, they can flow down that key characteristics to operator or a user who is using that one. So next thing is product safety. So product safety in the sense a state in which the product can perform its designed or unintended or intended purpose without causing an unacceptable risk of harm to person or damage property. Yes, damage to property. So it's nothing but, so consider if I am creating, Boeing is creating or developing and manufacturing one flight, and flight life cycle is 10 year. Consider it's a 10 year, for example, 10 year. So the flight should work its designed or intended purpose without causing unacceptable risk of harm to person or damage to property. So it should work 10 year. 10 year is life cycle, means it should work 10 year without making any harm to person or damage to property. That is called product safety. So it is critical for aerospace industries. For example, I have it should work in the sense it should work at any way. It's not like that. It should work continuously and consistently. So then only it will fulfill its task. For example, in 2015, um, I'm just remembering. I just took one rental bike. It's an electric bike. I just start to travel in that bike, and it is a highly traffic area in Bangalore. So I give accelerator uh, full, but it is not going fast. Thereafter, another place, I try to over overtake one car. I given full, but it is not going fast. So sometimes it's going fast, sometimes it is not going on. So it is that is also not okay. It should work continuously, consistently, without affecting any harm to person or damage to property. Then it is called that is called product safety. So we have to consider product safety for all of the products what we are designing at every level, at any stage. So we can do the qualification test, which may be we are just validating our design, like whether this design will work in its actual field. Like yeah, it may be qualification test or environmental test, whatever part we should validate our design, then only it should release. So that is one example of product safety. So product safety should be addressed, this point should be addressed from starting to end of its product life cycle. Next thing is ethical behavior. So I hope everyone knows what is ethical behavior. So it's like the employee who is working on the organization. It's maybe from top management to any person, any level of the employee, acting consistently with what society considers a good values. Additionally, it aims include fairness, honesty, dignity, equality, diversity, and individual right. So it's nothing but for aerospace industries, we are working with life of soldiers, life of person, and also life of country. So the ethical behavior, people who are working on the organization, ethical behavior is very important. So ISO 9001 2015 doesn't have this requirement, but this requirement is there in AS 9100, since it is these products and services are uh, critical for human, and it is play with the human's life, or not only humans life, it is play with a different level of people. So that is why ethical behavior is important in aerospace industries. So next point is process approach. So process approach is nothing but, so for AS9100D, promoting plan do check act. So plan do check act in the sense, so before doing, so for a very simple example, if you are going to do produce a product, so we should have a plan, and we have to do that product as a sample or a proto, and we have to do inspection. And if inspection, like a first article inspection or something like that, we will check all the parameters. Then if it is okay, we'll standardize that one. If it is not okay, we'll do a continual improvement. So that is called plan do check act. So next thing is risk-based thinking. So AS is promoting risk-based thinking. So risk-based thinking means whatever activity we are going to perform, we have to identify the risk, and we have to do analysis on the risk. There should be a risk analysis and a risk mitigation plan. So that is called a risk-based thinking. So clause 8, whatever central operation is completed, So next thing is clause 9. Clause 9 explaining about performance evaluation. So we have done the planning, we have do the central function. Next thing is performance evaluation. We are checking. So there should be some procedure for what we are creating in the organization. So like a QA quality plan, test plan, whatever thing. Those things should be there. It should be defined with the frequency, whatever it is. That criteria should be defined. The next thing is review of customer satisfaction. So whatever product, so once it is done, whatever product we have delivered to customer, we have to identify customer satisfaction. We have to send some surveys to customer and get the feedback from supplier. There should be a mechanism for customer satisfaction identification and its improvement. So next thing is we have start to implement AS9100. Then we have to do internal audits. We have to define the audit frequency, and based on that, we have to do the internal audit. And next thing is once internal audit is complete, we have to update the status. So overall effectiveness of quality management system, and there are some checkpoints also. Those points has to be update to management. That is called a management review meeting. So in management review meeting, the checkpoint, those whatever procurement in the AS, those points has to be discussed in the management review meeting, and its MOU has to be created. So there should be evidence for management review meeting also. So period of management review we have to define. So next thing is clause 10. It's improvement. It's called improvement. So there should be, so once this check, so performance evaluation is completed, based on that, if there is an NC or opportunity for improvement, there should be one plan, corrective action plan should be there. And there should be another thing is called a continual improvement for any so early days of a year we should have a continual improvement plan for that year, and it has to be tracked. So whatever any kind of improvements we can mention in the tracker, and it has to be tracked. And once it complete, we this continual improvement plan also we can present in our management review meeting. So these are the 10 clauses. So if it is a new person who attended the training, they may not understand 100%. So I hope you got some idea on what is AS standard, what are the clauses, what are the major requirement of AS standard. Any questions? Thank you for joining us. We welcome your feedback or doubts in comment box. FLM Hub, learn together.